What is up, everybody? It is Caching with Cody. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm here to talk to you today about what geocaching is and how you can get started. First of all, geocaching is a worldwide game, hobby, sport, which is basically a real-life treasure hunt. There are geocaches hidden all over the place in your local parks, on trails, even in some of your big major cities. And it is a real-life treasure hunt where you go out, you find the container. Inside the container, you will find trade items, little trinkets and toys. There's a logbook. You sign the logbook and you mark that you found it in the app. It's real exciting because geocaching will take you to places that you've never been before. New trails, new parks, new places to see, and it's a lot of fun. And you can get started, and all you need is a smartphone and a pen. So the first thing you want to do is open up your app store. When you get to your app store, you're going to search for geocaching. Now you're going to want to download the green square, and when you download it, go ahead and open it up. Now the first thing you're going to see is this welcome screen. What you're going to want to do is hit sign up. You're going to put in your email address and you're going to create a username. Now, very important, other cachers are going to start to recognize you very quickly by your geocaching name, so pick a good name that you want to stick with you for a while. Create a password and then hit sign up. Once you get signed up and you get logged in, you hit this welcome screen. Gives you a couple of quick tips. And then make sure that you allow the location. Alright, the next thing you're going to see is a map of where you're located. And if you see the blue circle in the middle with the arrow, that tells you what direction you are pointing and what direction you are facing, which is going to help you find the cache. Now when you first see the map, you're going to see a couple of different icons. We're going to ignore the ones with the stars because those are the caches that I own, that I have placed out in the wild for other people to find. The smiley faces are caches that I have found, and all of these other green ones are caches that I have not yet found. So you're going to want to find one that's close to you that has one of those green icons. Now when you first tap on it, it's going to give you a little explanation of what a traditional geocache is. That's the most common geocache that there is, and they range from all different types of sizes. Could be a teeny tiny little magnetic micro, or it could be as large as a tackle box, or even possibly an ammo can, which is one of the more popular geocaching containers. Now what you'll notice at the bottom of the screen is you'll see a couple of numbers. You'll see a 1.5, that tells you the distance to that cache. And then you'll see another number, which is also 1.5. That is a terrain rating. That gives you an idea on a scale from 0 to 5 on how difficult the travel is to get to that cache. It could include, rock climbing or trudging through some bushes. And then the other one is the difficulty. That's the number on the far right. Now that difficulty will give you an idea of how hard it is to find the cache. The higher the difficulty, the more brain power it's going to take to find it. It could be well camouflaged or hidden. Now when you open up the cache page, you'll see a couple buttons here that say navigate and log. Clicking on navigate will bring up the directions to get to the geocache. And then when you click on log, that gives you an opportunity to mark that you found it, claim your find, and also write a little note to the cache owner. You'll see over here on the next part down where there's a difficulty rating as well as a terrain rating. Then you'll see where there's a size rating. You'll see who placed the cache. If you get stumped, you can always click on the hint. Some cache owners will put a little hint there to help you find it. And then you'll see the description. Now if we open up the description, this takes you to the official cache page where you can read about where the cache is located, some possible hints on where to find it, if there's any kind of rules like whether or not the park's open from certain hours, and you also might see some congratulations to whoever found the cache first. So it's always a good idea to make sure you read the description because sometimes the coordinates might be fake. It could be a red herring, send you on a wild goose chase. So make sure you always look at that description page before you go find it. The next thing you'll see is the attributes. So you'll be able to look and see whether or not you can bring dogs, if it's available 24/7, if there's parking nearby, things to look out for like ticks or poisonous plants and thorns. And then trackables. Trackables are something that you might see in a geocache. You're going to want to look for any kind of tag that says trackable on it. The trackables are placed with a mission. They're designed to go from one cache to another. Geocachers can pick them up, discover them, take them to a new cache to kind of help them along their way. So somebody might put a cache out that says, I want to go to Florida. So you'll want to help move that cache along. If you're traveling south, move it to a cache that's a little bit further south to help that trackable find its location. Now this cache is actually one of mine that I have here at the park. So we are going to go ahead and navigate to it. We're going to go find it. And you'll notice the arrow is going to point on your phone as you turn it. So that is going to be your compass. So that's going to give you the general direction that you need to go. So we have to go 0.3 miles this way. All right, now before we go find the cache, just a couple things. Make sure that you bring a pen. You will need to sign the logbook in order to get credit for your find. Although not required, I would definitely recommend bringing a multi-tool or a small set of pliers. Sometimes the caches are very, very small. The logbooks are very, very tiny, stuffed inside of a little tube, and this makes it a heck of a lot easier to get the cache out. The other thing that I would recommend bringing, again, not a requirement, but you might want to bring some trade items. Go to your local dollar store, pick up a little bag of army men or some other trinkets to bring along with you, because if you find something in the cache that you want to take, you also have to leave something of equal or better value. So those little trade items could be anything you ordered online. For example, I've ordered and used these little coins. I've also used these little ninjas that I'll sometimes place in caches. And you'll also sometimes come across some handmade swag, which swag is the term that geocachers use for the stuff that's inside the caches. I've also made some handmade swag. So I like to make these little wood-burned coins and leave them in geocaches, and some little glass drops with my YouTube channel logo on it. So again, although not a requirement, would definitely recommend bringing some trade items. Again, just in case you see a neat little trinket that you want, you'll want to trade that out. So we got our pen, we got our phone. Let's go find a geocache. All right, now as we start our trek to the geocache, you're going to notice that the distance is going to start going down. So it tracks your distance in real time as you get there. Something else that you'll probably notice on the screen is the waypoint. So when you navigate to the cache, it will sometimes give you a place where you can park. All right, now one of the first rules of geocaching is be aware of your surroundings. Other people might not know what you're doing, so you have to use stealth. Make sure nobody's watching you before you actually go and find the geocache. So with that being said, we're about 42 feet away from the geocache. As we get closer, you'll notice that it gets smaller and smaller. General rule of thumb is keep your mind open to about within, give or take, 30 feet. So once the geocaching app gets you to the general location, you'll want to use your geocache sensors. It might be looking for a suspicious pile of rocks or an odd pile of sticks, things that just kind of look out of the ordinary. So let's go ahead and see if we can find it. Pants are always a good idea, and boots. So now we're about 30 feet. Any ideas where it might be? Now this looks like a suspicious pile of sticks on this tree. Hey, look at that. There's the geocache. So again, looking at the GPS, give or take about 30 feet is where the cache is at. So let's open it up. All right, so we found the cache. Now we want to open it up. Here's our content. So inside, you'll find the logbook. So here we have a trackable, and then some trade swag. again, with the trackable, you're able to take that without leaving something, but I would always recommend leaving something behind anyway. And then you'll want to log the trackable in the app, which we'll do another video to cover trackables at a later time. Oh, there's a bug. How about that? So if there's anything in here that you'd like, again, you'll want to leave something if you take it. So we're going to put this stuff back in the cache. We're going to look at our log. So here's our log book. Now when you look at the log, the name on the top is the person who was the first to find the cache after it was published. A lot of geocachers will rush out as soon as the cache gets published to be that first to find. So when you get here, you're going to want to sign the date and your geocaching username. That is a requirement to log the find. So after you sign it, put it back in the baggie. Make sure you seal it up nice and good. Put it back in. And then you always put the cache back exactly how you found it. So there we go. Now we have to log it in the app. Alright, so now that we signed the log, put the cache back exactly how we found it, we're going to go ahead and pull up the app, navigate back to the cache. We're going to tap on the log button. We're going to mark found it. And if you couldn't find it, which is okay, it happens, you mark it DNF. DNF stands for did not find. So we're going to mark it as found. Now here is where you write a little note about your adventure to find the geocache. Geocache owners put in a lot of time and effort to maintain their geocaches, so it's always nice when, especially me as a cache owner, we get a nice detailed note that says, oh, it was a beautiful day, came out here with a friend, went traipsing around through the bush to find it. So write a nice little note here about your experience finding the cache. Now something else that you can do too when you find a geocache is you can give it a favorite point, which is what I just marked down at the bottom of the screen. You get and earn favorite points for every so many geocaches that you find. So if you find a geocache where you really like the area, or it was a unique puzzle, required special gadget to solve it, you can give it a favorite point if you really like that geocache. After you finish that, you'll want to hit post on the upper right hand corner, and congratulations, you just logged your first geocache. Now there are all kinds of different cache types out there. What we just found was a traditional geocache, but there's mystery caches, puzzle caches, letterbox hybrid caches, earth caches. Definitely start off with a traditional cache, and we're going to cover the other cache types in a later video. And that's it. You found your first geocache. So let me know in the comments where you found your first geocache, and happy caching.